The hardest thing about building a dynasty team is building this team for the long haul, making sure you're able to compete to win multiple championships, winning championships in back-to-back-to-back years. That's one thing we're going to be talking about today. How can you do it? How can you build these teams? What are some ways that you can set yourself up for the long term so you can be successful? Building a dynasty team is very challenging, also takes a lot of luck. You got to navigate injuries, you got to navigate the schedule. Also, some of these players that are good, they run bad. They have their runs of bad games. It happens, just part of the process, part of the game. One thing I noticed from Dynasty gamers is that they tend to relax when things are good. They get a little overconfident. They get a little lazy. They get a little complacent, and they stop making them roster moves. They stop making pickups off the waiver wire, and that's a quick way from taking a good team into a middling to even a bad team. And that can happen in a hurry because this league changes in a hurry. And you got to think of some of these players that you can pick up off the waiver wire that you can add for depth. And these are free players. You're talking about guys like Cordell Patterson, Tyler Hanke, Dearness Johnson earlier in the season. And these are players that you may think, I may never use them. I may never need them, but there may be a time where you could insert one into your lineup when injuries hit, bye weeks hit, and allow you to get that one extra win. That one extra win that gets you to the playoffs. That one extra win that gets you to that first round bye. And those little tiny moves helps you out. Plus the depth. Building depth is huge in Dynasty. The cheapest way to build depth is with your draft picks. And the thing about draft picks is you want to hold them tight. You do not want to just give them away. Even when you're coasting, you're one of the best teams in your league and you're doing well, you just don't want to just start throwing them out for veterans trying to get that W, because you're just shooting yourself when it comes to value. It really depends on the deal per situation, but these rookie picks are at their most valuable when it comes time for those rookie drafts, because that's when everyone's interested in. Rookie picks don't get injured. Rookie picks really don't decrease in value until technically you make your pick, because it's a big old mystery box. And these rookie picks at that moment, when they're at their most value, is when you can make the assessment. Can I just package these picks up and get that veteran I want? Or can I just select that rookie I want and just see what I can get out of this young asset? You also want a good crop of young assets on your team so they can foster the depth on your dynasty team and potentially be your future, or be future picks of stock for your team to build up your portfolio for trade pieces later, or whatever you need them to be. Young players will always be good options for trades, because there will be always somebody in your league wanting to build the roster on the cheap with some of these young players, and they do not take a big hit in value until after a few years in their career, usually, unless they straight face plant early. Also, you want to be sending trade offers often. It doesn't matter if you're the top team in your league or the bottom dweller. Honestly, whenever a trade happens in your league, if a trade goes down, instantly one team in your league has probably gotten better, and which hurts you, and you do not want that to happen. You really want to be very aggressive when it comes to trades. I don't know how many leagues you're in, but if you're in a few or just one, you really need to be submitting trades often, and maybe you want to set like a guideline or rule. Send a couple trades a day, a couple trades a week, a couple trades a month, but really have a volume standpoint where you're sending out offers consistently and with a lot of volume, so you can keep the depth of your team and keep building quality for your overall dynasty trade. Don't be afraid to move any player, whether it's Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, if it's a top asset, bottom dweller asset, don't be afraid. If the value's there, make the deal, search for the deal. Like we say on this channel all the time, kick the tires. It's not about buy, sell, trade with a player. It's really about the micro, macro economics of your league, who values who for what, and what you can do with those players. You really need to be sending out those offers so you can really learn the economics of your league and really have a good feel of how your league and how some of the league mates in your league like to negotiate. Always have a plan of how you want to build your team. Do you want to build by youth? Do you want to stack wide receivers? Do you want to just be stacked at running back? Do you like to stack players on certain teams, certain offenses? Just have a plan of attack so you're ready to rock and roll. And then another way you can make trades happen is consolidate your roster. 2-for-1s, 3-for-1s, 4-for-1s, but always give quality. But sometimes giving a little something extra can get you what you want in return. Don't be afraid to trade and look like you lose a trade in the beginning if it gets you that asset you want. I'm not telling you to overpay. I'm not telling you to blow your wallet on that one player, but really think about, how can I get this deal done to make my team better, to make sure I'm in position to win my league for the future. Also, don't be too loose with those draft picks. I already said it once, but don't be just throwing them around. There have been dynasty managers that I've seen over the years just throw away those picks because they think they can just buy production for the now. That veteran ends up getting hurt, losing value, and next thing you know, that dynasty gamer doesn't have the draft picks, the capital to fall back on. I'm not saying never trade them away, and I'm not saying that you should always hold them. I'm saying be very frugal with your draft picks. Be smart. Again, the most valuable time for your draft picks is right before your rookie draft. And at that point, have a plan of attack of what you want. Know what your team needs. Know what players you like. See what you can get for what. And always kick the tires. There's trade calculators out there. You got my rankings. You got DLF rankings. You got other sites' rankings. You can use those as a guide. But you know what? Sometimes you can catch players on a deal way below what the calculator says. Sometimes the players are overpriced. We all know this, especially if you're in a ton of leagues. But make sure you're kicking the tires. Make sure you're sending lots of offers so you know how this league is ran. You know how some of these teams run their team. You get a good idea of when and how you could submit some of these offers so you can get deals done to make your teams better, especially those deals in season where you do need a player. You need a patch-up job at running back, wide receiver, tight end, whatever, but you don't know what to send out to the offer because you don't know the teams in your league. By sending out offers day in, week out, month out, every time, all the time, you'll be able to have a good feel of that dynasty team. This will allow you to keep your roster churning. This will allow you to have depth because depth is very important in Dynasty Fantasy Football because, as you saw from this year, with COVID, injuries, and just straight weird-ass luck, that these teams can flip on their head, and if your team's loaded from top to the bottom with good quality players, you still have a chance. And that's sometimes all you need is just a chance due to the depth on your roster. The sexiest team in your league, 9 times out of 10, doesn't always win, but depth will help you out for the long term, especially when the unthinkable happens. A bad trade in the NFL, hurting your players, injuries, or whatever it takes. You gotta have that depth. That's all I gotta say about Dynasty Fantasy Football strategies at this point. Let me know what you like to do to build your teams in the comments. I'll talk about rookie draft strategies and everything else down the line later. Let me know if there's anything you want me to bring up in a future show. Let me know and I'll drop a video for you. But I want to thank you for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out and I'll catch you next time.